Believe it or not, throughout the long and illustrious history of the Super Bowl, storybook comebacks have been virtually non-existent. As a general rule, if you go down big with the Lombardi Trophy on the line, you lose. Unless, of course, you're Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, who in the not-too-distant past authored the most thrilling, most unimaginable Super Bowl comeback ever. A comeback that further cemented their singular place in football history and subjected the long-suffering Atlanta Falcons to a lifetime of humiliation. While New England and Atlanta are about as dissimilar as two franchises can be in terms of cachet and stature, in 2016, the Falcons' unexpected reemergence, for a brief time at least, put them in the same strata as Brady's Patriots. The unexpected part really can't be overstated. Coming into 2016, the Falcons hadn't had a winning season since making it to the NFC Championship game in 2012. And with longtime quarterback Matt Ryan on the wrong side of 30 and coming off the worst season of his career by adjusted total QB rating, expectations were low in Atlanta. In fact, when the preseason got underway, only 4 teams had longer Super Bowl odds than the Falcons, who, by the way, are one of the dozen NFL franchises without a Super Bowl title. However, the Falcons clearly never got the memo that they were supposed to be mediocre. Instead, Atlanta transformed into a juggernaut practically overnight thanks to a remarkable resurgence from their offense, and specifically, Ryan. At the age of 31, the former Offensive Rookie of the Year and then 3-time Pro Bowler turned in by far the finest season of his career. Despite working with more or less the same core of receivers and backs he had in 2015, a top-heavy group anchored by Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman, Ryan was a different guy, plain and simple. That year, Ryan obliterated his previous career highs in virtually every passing statistic, including passing yards, passing touchdowns, and completion rate, while leading the league in QB rating, yards per completion, and adjusted net yards per pass attempt. And with Ryan, the eventual MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, playing the best football of his career, the Falcons' offense was downright unstoppable, leading the NFL in points scored, expected points contributed, and yards per play. In fact, the 2016 Falcons were just the 7th team in NFL history to average at least 6.7 yards per play. Meanwhile, the Falcons put up points on nearly 53% of their offensive drives. No other team in the NFL hit even 46%. Ultimately, their offense was so prolific that even with a bottom 6 defense, the Falcons still cruised to an NFC South division title while leading their conference in point differential. As a matter of fact, they finished second in the NFL in that department. The only team ahead of them? The New England Patriots. Go figure. 2 years removed from winning the long-elusive 4th Super Bowl title of the Brady-Bill Belichick era, the intractable Patriots finished with the best record in the NFL, the best defense in the NFL, and a top 5 offense. And that was with Brady suspended for the first 4 games of that season for his role in the Deflategate scandal. On top of that, they also lost star tight end Rob Gronkowski to season-ending back surgery midway through the year. Even still though, the Patriots were far and away the best team in the AFC. And as they bullied their way to another conference championship, it felt like deja vu all over again. Except, as the postseason unfolded, the Falcons seemed genuinely capable of derailing New England's ostensibly inevitable Super Bowl title. Just like the Patriots, the Falcons also destroyed their first 2 playoff opponents, beating the Seahawks by 16 points in the divisional round before humiliating the Packers in the NFC Championship game. And I mean humiliated. By the 3rd quarter, the Falcons were up 31-0, and by the time that epic shellacking was all said and done, Ryan had become just the 3rd quarterback ever to throw 4 passing touchdowns with 0 interceptions in a conference championship game. And just for good measure, he also ran one in.
2nd down, Ryan escapes, gonna run, has some room, and a touchdown!
The Falcons were going to the Super Bowl for just the 2nd time in the franchise's 50-year history. And although Atlanta was predictably unable to stop football's preeminent powerhouse back in 1998, this time around, the Falcons actually had a shot at slaying the NFL's proverbial Goliath. Coming into Super Bowl 51, the Falcons were only 3-point underdogs against the 14-2 Patriots, a demonstrably flawless team led by the greatest quarterback of all time and for whom the overwhelming pressure of the Super Bowl was a non-issue. That's how dangerous the Falcons were. And sure enough, Atlanta's otherworldly offense did indeed show out against the mighty Patriots at NRG Stadium. That said, Super Bowl 51 started off slowly. The first 4 possessions of the game resulted in punts, and neither team put any points on the board in the first quarter. Eventually, however, the Falcons' offense found its rhythm, and with just over 12 minutes remaining in the second, Atlanta took a 7-0 lead.
Freeman, what a cut! Touchdown, Atlanta!
And less than 4 minutes later, after a 3-and-out from Brady and the Patriots, the Falcons doubled their lead.
End zone. Pass is caught for the touchdown, Austin Hooper.
Then, just ahead of the 2-minute warning, things went from bad to worse for New England.
Falcons overload the right side of the Patriots offensive line. Pass is picked. Intercepted, Robert Alford. He's gone. There are no flags. And the Falcons add to their lead. Alford with a pick 6.
Astonishing. Simply astonishing. This was the Patriots, the freaking Patriots, and they were getting blown out in the Super Bowl by the Atlanta Falcons. It defied words. And although New England did manage to get on the scoreboard before the first half adjourned via a last-second field goal, any momentum derived from that quickly evaporated. The Patriots punted on their first possession of the second half, and Atlanta extended its lead roughly halfway through the third quarter.
Never had a 100-yard game in the NFL. Here is Coleman, end zone, touchdown.
That Tevin Coleman touchdown put Atlanta up 28-3. 28-3. A seemingly insurmountable lead. A historically insurmountable lead. Throughout Super Bowl history, no team had ever successfully come back from a deficit greater than 10 points. The Patriots were down 25. But the thing is, Tom Brady and the Patriots weren't bound by history. They made history. And they were about to author the most legendary 2 quarters of football throughout their entire 2-decade run of dominance. It began on their very next possession. Over the course of 6 minutes, Brady marched his team from their own 25-yard line deep into enemy territory and capped the 13-play drive with a 5-yard touchdown pass to James White. 28-9. On their next possession, after New England's defense forced a crucial 3-and-out following an unsuccessful onside kick attempt, Brady marched his team 75 yards downfield before Stephen Gostkowski converted a 33-yard field goal attempt. 28-12. Suddenly, with roughly 10 minutes remaining, it was a 2-possession game. Still, the Falcons were up by 2 touchdowns plus 2 2-point conversions, and their offense, the best in the game, just needed to eat up some clock and hold on to the football. Simple enough, right? Nope.
Out of the shotgun, Ryan gets hit. Ball is out. This is a fumble. New England has it.
Yeah, you better believe that Brady swiftly turned that gift, a fumble at Atlanta's 25-yard line, into a touchdown.
Brady, end zone touchdown. Amendola.
And they made the 2-point conversion too. 28-20. 1-possession game. Hoo boy. Suffice it to say, the colors on Atlanta's sideline were pretty tight at this point, but still, the Falcons were in control. Up by 8 with less than 6 minutes to go, they were still masters of their own destiny. And at first, it looked like they were going to take care of business. On their first play, Ryan hit a wide-open Freeman for a 39-yard gain. 2 plays later, the Falcons were deep in Patriots territory thanks to a sensational catch and throw from Ryan to Jones. They were in field goal territory. They were sitting pretty. And then they blew it. First, on a drop back from the Patriots' 23-yard line, Ryan took a brutal sack instead of throwing the ball away, moving the Falcons back 12 yards. Not good. Then, on the very next play, an offensive holding penalty negated a catch from Mohamed Sanu and pushed the Falcons back 10 more yards. All of a sudden, they were out of field goal range, and after an incomplete pass on 3rd down, they had no choice but to punt it away. Not good. They were giving Brady the ball with more than 3 minutes left on the clock, needing 1 score to potentially tie the game. I bet you can guess how that worked out for Atlanta. Starting out from his own 9-yard line, Brady needed less than 2 minutes to shepherd the Patriots to Atlanta's 1-yard line. And White, for the second time, took care of things from there. Somehow, improbably, the Patriots were a 2-point conversion away from tying this thing up. Spoiler alert, they got it.
Even if it is tied for Atlanta. Pass, Amendola, flag is down, Amendola's in.
28-28. In the span of less than 25 minutes, the Patriots had erased a 25-point deficit in the Super Bowl. It was nothing short of heroic, and for Falcons fans, a waking nightmare. From midway through the third quarter until the dying seconds of the fourth, the Patriots offense racked up 263 net yards, while their 4 drives went touchdown, field goal, touchdown plus a 2-point conversion, and touchdown plus a 2-point conversion. Meanwhile, over that same span, their defense held the Falcons to 61 net yards, forced 3 punts, and recovered a fumble. And if there was any optimism remaining in Atlanta as the game headed to overtime, it was extinguished as soon as the coin toss.
New England gets to call the toss. Heads. They have called heads. It is heads. New England has won the toss.
Overtime in the NFL, after all, is a modified sudden death. Whichever team scores a touchdown first wins. And with New England getting the ball first, it felt like it was all over for Atlanta except the crying. And it was. 3 plays into overtime, Brady had led the Patriots into Atlanta territory. 4 plays later, and with some help from a defensive pass interference call, the Patriots were knocking on the door. 1st and goal. Take it away, Joe Buck.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th! What a comeback!
What a comeback, indeed. What a collapse. What a game. Arguably the greatest Super Bowl ever. It wasn't just the biggest comeback ever in a Super Bowl, but it was also, shockingly, the first Super Bowl ever to go into overtime. And in storybook fashion, it ended with the greatest quarterback in history on the winning side, taking home his 5th of 7 career rings and setting numerous Super Bowl records in the process. In orchestrating that comeback, Brady, the oldest quarterback ever to start a Super Bowl, set a Super Bowl record for completed passes and passing yards, and also claimed the all-time Super Bowl record in both those categories. For his efforts, Brady became both the first player ever with 4 Super Bowl MVP awards and the oldest player ever to be named Super Bowl MVP, a record he later reset in Super Bowl 55. And as much as New England's historic comeback reaffirmed the unrivaled greatness of Brady and the Patriots, it also solidified the Falcons' already unflattering reputation. The Falcons, with 0 Super Bowl titles in a half-century of existence, were famously futile before this collapse. Now they were defined by failure, with this unfathomable loss immediately becoming the franchise's definitive moment. 28-3 became a shorthand for the game itself, a dig at the broader ineptitude of the Falcons organization, and, for those on the losing side, a cruel, recurring joke that has yet to go away.
We were just chopping some burgers at halftime saying this game feels like it should be 28-3 in favor of Minnesota. Why is it still 10-10?
Turnovers.
With sympathies to Ryan, though, those jokes are likely going to be thrown at him for the rest of his life. That's how it goes when you're on the wrong side of history. And there's arguably no Super Bowl more historic than the Patriots' unforgettable, unprecedented comeback against the Falcons. I mean, it was 28-3. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.